Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Zant here, and it is New Year's Eve right now, so I'm going to go ahead and say Happy New Year to you guys. I know it's a little bit early, but 2016 is almost here. But before we get into 2016, and I've got a lot in store for 2016, I've got a lot of great plans for my editing and streaming and stuff like that I can't wait to share with you guys. But before we get into 2016, we got to look back on 2015 at some of the best moments we've had this year, and I'm going to do that in the form of a top 10 favorite edits of 2015. These are basically my favorite edits that I've done this year. I've completed a total of 30 edits this year, and I decided to do the top 10 as like a little top 10 thing looking back on the year. So without further ado, let's get started. So number 10, we have Under the Sun. So this edit, I actually have really vivid memories of doing this edit. I was doing it when I was in the middle of finals coming out of my second semester of last year, so it was before the summer, and I was basically doing this edit as kind of a way to kind of keep the stress in finals kind of somewhat under control. So whenever I take a break from studying and stuff like that, I just kind of work on this edit a little bit. And I want to do a lot of trick shots in this because at the time I was editing a lot of sniping, and I never really get to do a lot of trick shot editing, so that's what my kind of thing was with this, and it turned out pretty cool. It was one of my most liked edits of the time as well, so thought that was pretty cool. So moving into number 9, we have Summer's End. So this was an edit that I did for Red Joker, for his introduction to Red, and I actually didn't really like how this edit came out so much, but the intro of it was my favorite, probably my favorite intro I've ever done. It had the little scene on Cove, and it was like sunset and stuff like that, the sand castle and everything. It was really cool, and it had a really good song in it as well. And that was one of the first edits I actually used 2 songs for, like a separate one for the intro, and then a separate one for the actual clips in the edit. And they're both really good songs, and overall the edit was pretty good. I wasn't 100% with it, but you guys seemed to like it a lot, so decided to toss it in here. Number 8, we have my first phase episode, which was Falling Away. Now, this wasn't actually supposed to be my first phase episode. My first phase episode was supposed to be Quantum, which was that knifing dualtage for Ice and Jam. But then the BO3 beta happened, and Dirty asked me to do a little edit for him for the BO3 beta. And I did this edit in a little under 8 hours, and it turned out to be a lot better than I thought it would. It went up on Phase, and everyone was tweeting at me, it's like, oh my god, you made that game look so good, because, you know, new COD game, everyone's not 100% sure about it. And I was really happy with that edit for only doing it within 8 hours, and I had a lot of fun with it, and the song was so good as well. So, yeah, that's number 8. Number 7, we have Formation 2, and this is an edit I did for my boy Forms. This was really kind of after the start of where I started to really love doing Ghosts, and this was basically kind of like my dream Ghosts episode, breathing life, and this was like PS4 clips, 1080p gorgeousness, and they were all like super clean, and the song was really cool with this, and this was when I really started to get into my signature cinematic style with the crazy map cinematics that go flying around everywhere and give people headaches. But those really, I was really starting to perfect those in this edit, and you can see kind of how I've improved those cinematics a long time, and from this one to the one before, you can really see that improvement in it, and I just had a lot of fun with this episode, and it was definitely my best edit of the time. Number 6, we have High Point. So this was actually my second episode I ever did for Red. It was for Red JMR, and it was an all ghost sniping episode. And this was basically kind of like my dream Ghosts episode V2. This time, instead of being like beautiful 1080p clips, it was all reload canceling clips, and it was something I've always wanted to try doing, because I thought reload canceling stuff, it's something that's kind of different to sync. And especially on Ghosts, when you're hitting multis and stuff, everything is so fast. And I really paid attention to make sure that this edit seemed fast, and it didn't take away from the speed that multis really have to them. So I used a song that was kind of a decent beat, but I synced it really fast, and it kind of turned out nice, and I had a lot of fun with it. And a lot of people think this was my 3rd episode for Red, but I actually finished this before Cold Heart, which is the edit that got me into Red, but Cold Heart went up on Red before this one, so this one just kind of went up after I joined Red, and I actually was editing this for the entire time while I was in Obey as well, so it was kind of a weird situation with this edit, and it had a lot of people confused, but it was one of my favorites, and I really did enjoy it. And it was also probably one of my cleanest edits as well. I didn't really do too many effects on it. Number 5 is an edit that was a big turning point in me as an editor. It kind of started my development as this true style that I had, and that's introducing Myth Horner Jr. The music is probably the most different music I've ever edited to. It was kind of this Noor song by Prolitzer. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It was kind of like Noor kind of classical song-ish, and then it had a remix of an Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I can't remember the name of the song for the life of me right now for some reason. But this is the edit that I first started to try doing that style of cinematics that I've kind of stuck with for almost up until now. Now that I'm kind of moving away from it a little bit. But this is the edit that started that all. You can watch this edit and you'll see the cinematics that go crazy around through the map. And this is the first edit I ever did that with. And it was just such an enjoyable edit to do. Junior and Horn, they were both really good friends of mine. Junior had actually donated so much money on my stream to me, and I didn't really know him much before until that. I'm just noticing like the amount of money he's donating to my stream is absolutely crazy. He's a great guy, and then we just became friends. And I was always saying if he gets into Myth, I was gonna edit his introducing. And it happened, so I edited his introducing. It turned out to be a duel, and we've been friends since. And Junior, if you're watching this, love you, dude. I still remember this episode I did for you and Horn, and it's probably one of my favorites I've ever done. So, yeah. Moving on to number 4, we have introducing Obey Wrathy, and this is my first episode I had ever done for a severely big team like Obey, Red, Sword, teams like that. And this is probably one of my favorite songs I've ever edited to. This was kind of during that time when I started discovering New Desert Blues as one of my favorite bands, and wink wink, looking forward to 2016. I'm actually going to be editing to a ton of their music in 2016. They have a new album coming out soon. It's going to be great. And this song I edited to in this episode, it was so fun to edit to. It was such a good song. Daniel is probably my second favorite song by them. And I literally don't know what to say about this edit. I just had so much fun with it, and I kind of changed the whole vibe of it, of what I wanted to from the start. And Wrathy's clips are beautiful. And this was the start of me starting to love editing ghosts. So if you guys don't know, I've kind of talked about this the rest of the top 10, but I really have always been a person who loves editing ghosts. Other people have thought that's weird. Like, I remember when I used to call with some people, like, trying to think of someone, Tyrant. He always thinks that it's weird that I would like to edit ghosts, and a lot of other people think that as well. And I don't know, it's just the thing with cinematics doesn't really bother me. I can live with it, and the rest of the stuff in the game is like incredibly clean, and it's just a pretty game, and it's got like a really natural feel to it. But I don't know what it is mean ghosts, but this episode kind of established that I really like editing ghosts, and it kind of started that chain of ghost edits for me. So it started with Wrathy, went on to Formation 2, then JMR, and then it just kept kind of going. And I don't think I've had one since, but I'm really hoping I can do some more ghost edits moving forward to 2016, seeing as people are seeming to go, for multicod at least, with the kind of next-gen multicod route. So maybe I can do like some crazy trick-shotting episode for Vez or something like that. And I've already got a few other things planned that's going to have ghosts in it that I can't really talk much about yet, but you guys will see in the future. So number 3 is a really big edit, and it's my most liked edit on my channel, Cold Heart. So this is my first edit to hit 1,000 likes, and if you guys didn't know it hit 1,000 likes, I actually hit it, I think, like 2 weeks ago. So absolutely crazy. I've always wanted an edit with have 1,000 likes, and this edit was my first one, and this was also the edit that got me into Red. So this one was for Sully, and I remember really, really vividly that about 3 different editors were supposed to do this thing. So when I was in Obey, I remember this episode for Sully was just getting passed around these different editors. I think Robot was doing it at one point, then Capri was doing it at one point, and Capri actually uploaded a scrap to it a few days ago on his channel. So you should go check that out if you want to see that. And everyone just kept passing it around, everyone kept scrapping it, and then Doom gave it to me and I kind of knew in the back of my head that this was my 3rd edit for Red, and I kind of had heard through the grapevine that I was getting picked up after my 3rd edit. I didn't know if I was really going to believe it or not, so I took this edit, and I actually really liked it. The thing a lot of people didn't like about it is it had a lot of Advanced Warfare in it, and I don't know, I'm the guy that always likes editing the newest COD game, and Advanced Warfare at the time, I still loved editing. I hated when everyone got off of it, so I was kind of really freaking excited for this edit. And the music in it is probably one of the, like, for music-wise, it was probably one of my favorite edits. That's why it's in the top 3, and the song Cold Heart, which is the second song in this edit, that is my favorite song I've ever edited to. That song has the just perfect vibe and the perfect tempo and the perfect beats, and it's got like this kind of like dark yet expressive vibe to it, and I just love it, and it's so good. And I just remember so vividly being in the call with Doom when this edit was going up, and I saw Red Zant in the title, and I was like freaking out, and there's so much hype on Twitter and stuff like that. It was absolutely crazy. It was like one of those holy shit moments, that you don't really think about until it's going to happen or when you're looking back on it. And it's something I can remember to this day. And another interesting thing about this edit, I kind of should have mentioned this earlier. I started this edit in the back of a van, like a minivan. I had my laptop in the van with me. I was going with my family up to Erie. We had an 8-hour drive. We had to drive up to Erie to see family over the summer. And I started the edit in the car. My dad has a little AC DC inverter thing, so it converts the power so I can use it in my laptop and stuff like that. And I was editing in the car. I got like the first 4 clips of the edit done in that ride up there, and then some of them while I was up there and some on the way back. And then I stayed up over 24 hours to finish this edit. So I put a lot into that edit, and it was the one that got me into Red, and it was crazy. So that's number 3, Cold Heart. So number 2 is Creation, and this is the edit that I probably went the farthest out of my comfort zone with. This is the first edit I actually ever tried using electronic music and using it to a degree that I'm doing a lot of effects with it, and it's kind of stuck. I've done a few other edits of this style too, and you guys are about to see, or the time you're watching this video, you've probably already seen the episode I've done for Dwizzler, if it's gone already. If it hasn't, you'll see it in a few days or so. I've done a similar style to that, but this edit, I took it so much farther than I originally intended with it. I had so many ideas for this song that I wanted to use. And this song, like, I knew in the back of my head this was gonna be one of my best edits when I found this song. I could just, like, when I found this song on SoundCloud, I could just, like, visualize what the edit was looking like in my head when I was doing it. I know it sounds really nerdy, but, and then I was kind of debating whether I should wait until Black Ops 3 to use this song and do an episode for Doodle then. But I kind of was leaning towards that, and then he came to me and said he had an episode ready, and I was just like, yep, gimme, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, busted out in 2 weeks before Black Ops 3 came out, turned out being one of my best edits I've ever done, and I had so much fun with that edit, and the little space scenes and stuff like that, that's what I mean by taking that edit farther than I thought it was going to. I had some really cool ideas for that middle part where it gets all slow and kind of creepy sounding, but when I actually started playing with things and I was making that little space scene, I was like, okay, what am I doing? But it turned out really cool, and I'm really happy with it. So, you get, for number 1, you guys all probably know what it is. This is my first big edit. This is a huge turning point for me as an editor, and it was really defining my style as an editor, and it's probably one of my most known edits I've ever done, and that is Red and Gold. So, this is my first ever episode I did for Red. I actually wasn't too excited to use this song once I actually started the edit. Like, my friend Buzz linked me this song. You guys probably know who Buzz is. Buzz is probably watching this, like, smiling right now. He's like, yeah, I gave him that song. So, I actually wasn't too hyped about this song when I listened to it the first few times. I couldn't really see an edit with this song. And then I started editing to it, and I started really liking this edit. And Level was someone that I always wanted to do an edit for. I saw the edit he did, that Doom did for him, and his clips looked really freaking clean. And he had, like, all the games that I liked editing. BO2, Ghosts, and some MW3 in there. I'm not a really big fan of MW3, but the main thing was the BO2 and the Ghosts. And, man, I just love doing this edit. The song turned out to be perfect. Everything just seemed to work in this edit, and it turned out to be my favorite edit I've ever done. And it's not my most liked on my channel, but in terms of me and pure enjoyment factor and what I think is my best and most enjoyable edit, it's definitely Red and Gold. And yeah, guys, that's all I have for this top 10 for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Once again, Happy New Year's to you guys. I'll see you guys in 2015. Got a few other uploads going up later in the week. I don't know. I can't even think of what day it is right now. My sleep schedule's so screwed up. So, Dwizzler's episode, which is called Phantom, should be going up on my channel 2 days after this video, or 1 day, I'm not entirely sure. Look at Twitter, I'll tell you. And then I have another episode going up called Closer. It's an edit from my friend Connect. It was his best of 2015. Probably went up, I think, yesterday, when you're watching this video. So, trying to think in the future, because I'm recording this a day early. And also, I'll have my Q&A finally going up in a few days after that, so hope you guys are excited for that. And once again, Happy New Year's to you guys. Talk to you guys later.